Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Thomas Corravilla, and I run the product marketing team here at Quiq. Joining me today is Greg Dreyfus, who's on the screen as well. He's our head of solutions consulting, who works with customers all day on reimagining CX with AI. We're super excited for today's session, which is going to be a little different and a bit more interactive than hopefully some of the other webinars you've gone to. So throughout today's demonstration, we'll be inviting you to share your thoughts, your insights with us using both the poll and Q&A features here on Zoom. So I want to start by recapping what's been happening at Quiq. We're in the midst of a revolution here, and we want to help you make sense of how to use this powerful technology they call AI to help solve your business challenges. We're the leaders in helping enterprise move to the next generation of CX through customer-centric AI. And I would say about a year ago, our journey began when we built our first AI assistant that was designed to improve our customer CX, help them grow revenue, and manage their costs. It was powered by generative AI and large language models, and it started with us focusing on your customer's most preferred channel, which is digital messaging. And earlier this year, we brought that capability to voice, which is a lot of our customers' most expensive channel. We call this product Voice AI. It's very different to your traditional IVR and voice bots. Voice AI communicates with your customers through multimodal interactions. So what that means is it uses both voice and text messaging where it makes sense. And it's built on state-of-the-art language processing, text-to-speech, and fits in with your existing telephony infrastructure, in addition to generative AI, of course. And today, we're extending our AI assistant to email. So it's a very exciting move for us. And with this, you can now maximize your AI investment with Quiq across your most meaningful channels. And that just increases the impact and time to value for your organization. And our AI assistants all use the same underlying platform, which means that you can build with us once and run everywhere that it matters. And what this means is that you can reuse all of your data, your business logic, system integrations across all of your customer touchpoints. And we've proven that these AI assistants can drive outcomes with the dozens of live examples that we already have with customers out in market. So let's talk about email, which is the main show, and why we're here. And to start, I always like to zoom out just to get a sense of the context that we're operating in. For a lot of businesses, email is their most voluminous channel. This is a stat from the Connected Customer Report that Salesforce runs annually. And it basically cites that customers use multiple channels, sometimes 8 or more. And often, and most of the time, email ranks number one in terms of the channels that businesses use. Other channels are growing quickly year over year, but email is still number one. And it's got a few problems. So we're going to start with a quick poll. And I want to talk about your biggest challenges. Let's put the poll there. Awesome. So you should see a little pop-up on your screen with 3 options. Please select an option in the poll, and none of the other attendees will be able to see how you vote. So the question is, which of these is your biggest challenge with email? I'm going to give folks a couple of minutes to select their options. The options here are high inbound email volumes and constant backlog, or it might be poor CSAT, or it might be an agent side problem with poor satisfaction or retention.
Okay, the result.
Awesome. There's the results. Okay, so it looks like high inbound email volumes and constant backlog, high turnaround times and costs are the primary challenge. That's good. The challenges of email are well known, it looks like. And we've all sent emails to that business and never gotten a response. In the image there that you can see, I just scanned my inbox. My inbox has a lot of these. I reached out to a business, in this case, Puppy Place Help, asking about an order for my dog's collar. Never got a response for weeks. And this has led to really poor customer satisfaction with email. And as you can see on the CSAT side, customers are reporting that it's only getting more challenging, and they're finding it really hard to switch to other channels when email fails them. And so that's the consumer side challenges. From a business perspective, it's everything that we saw in the poll, right? So it's bad customer experience, really unhappy agent, and most importantly, really high costs because of that horrible email backlog that you just alluded to. So with AI, there's got to be a better way, right? Well, there is, and here we go. So here is email AI. It works across every stage of your email journey. Email AI is a product that uses AI to triage, respond, and analyze emails efficiently and quickly. This means that you can provide consistent and personalized communication to your customers. So let's talk about the journey a little bit, and you'll see more of this in the demo. So a customer email comes in, and the first problem that you need to solve is routing that email to the right agent. So we can use AI to help do that, improving agent efficiency. And once that comes into the queue and you're ready to respond, you would want to resolve routine issues, which you can with AI with generative responses, or you can assist with drafts for your agent. In addition to routine issues, if you implement customer account specific information, you can extend this to answer even more complex questions, increasing that rate of automation. And finally, as you think about completing the journey, you can use AI to analyze existing emails or your backlog to identify opportunities to improve. So that's how email AI works in a nutshell. And the best part is that this is really, really easy to deploy. It works with your email management platform. You don't have to buy yet another platform, so there's no need to rip and replace. And we talked a little about a little bit about this earlier with Build Once, Run Everywhere. Because it's powered by Quiq's AI, it's extendable across multiple channels. So a lot of folks will come to us, work on our platform, start with email, and extend that across other channels. Okay, so that's a little bit about my preamble. I am but a hype man for the main event that is Greg Dreyfus. Enough talking. Let's see how this works, Greg. I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so in today's demo, I'm going to be covering two use cases. The first case that we're going to cover is a customer called John who has placed an order with Quicksilver Bikes, but he hasn't actually heard back from Quicksilver Bikes in a couple of weeks. So he's really wanting to find out more about his order. But he also has a question about his balance. So he actually goes to the Contact Us form hosted on the Quicksilver Mountain website. He fills in his details, his email address. He's actually selected that it's an order inquiry, and then he's put in his inquiry here. So he's asking for someone to follow up on his bike order from a couple of weeks ago, and he's also asking if there's any balance due and to get response from that. So now that he's got this message typed up, he's going to submit. And what's actually now happening in the background is this is being sent to Zendesk, right? So Zendesk is the email management platform here. And Zendesk is going to receive this contact, generate a ticket, and then the ticket is going to send the information to Quiq, and we'll cover exactly how that happens. So as you can see here, this is the original request. And within a matter of seconds, Quiq was able to respond back to John, right? So it actually responded back with information about the order, okay? And it also responded back about the balance due inquiry. So we could handle multi-part questions. We actually responded back in that case. But not only that, but we've also enhanced the ticket. So a couple of things have happened on the ticket fields. So you'll notice that the AI categorization has been filled out. So even though the user during the form submission selected orders, AI can also categorize the issue. So if this actually came through the email channel, there was no chance for them to select a drop down. Well, we've just provided some additional information that can be used to maybe route the ticket or even for analytics purposes later on. We've also selected from a drop down, right? The correct value that we were able to verify the information, right? Which is something that's pretty unique to AI Studio. And this again can help with particular flows or in the reporting analytics. And we've also checked the box here for AI solved, right? So these are all custom fields, but the Quiq AI layer is able to affect these fields, which then can control the workflow of this email request. So some really efficient gains that are happening here. But let's see exactly what's actually happened. So this is the contact form that I filled out, okay, and that creates a Zendesk ticket. From this point on, we're actually using a webhook from Zendesk to supply all this data to Quiq. So Quiq is now receiving the email content and the contact details. And from there, it's leveraging its own AI Studio platform, which has built-in automation logic, right, to go and understand what are the right tasks and data lookups that are needed to answer these questions. So in this case, they asked about a bike order. So there's probably going to be an order lookup in an order management system. And then there was also a balance inquiry. So that could have maybe be also the order management system, or maybe it's in account info, right? So we're determining what the right systems to go and fetch the information are. We then go and fetch that information. It goes through a series of verification checks and quality check within AI Studio before it then sends the response back to Zendesk. Again, then Zendesk updates the ticket and sends the email out to the customer. So now let's see that email. Okay, so here I'm going into my inbox and we received an email a couple of minutes ago, and this is the response that John should have received. Okay, so if I can open up, there we go. So here we've got the email out. So this actually took only a couple of seconds, right, from the initial request going through to being able to respond. So really, this is going to help triage certain tickets. We can actually identify certain tickets as maybe being time sensitive, and then maybe raising the priority on them. Or in this case, we actually deemed that the AI should be responding to this inquiry and can respond. So it's actually fetched all the information, formulated a response, and sent that out. So this is the first use case. So what we're going to do here is a quick poll. The question in the poll is, where would you want to get started implementing email AI first? So the poll should have come up, and really there are three responses. Yes, I would want to put it in front of customers. Yes, I want to assist my agents with responses, or I want to use AI to improve my business operations. We'll give you a couple of seconds to fill this out, and then we'll review the results. Okay, the results are coming in. Okay, so it was pretty shared, but really leading the pack is, yes, I want to assist my agents with responses, right? So providing those formulated responses. And the great thing is they don't always have to be public responses. They could also be internal comments that the agent then reviews and decides to use either the entire response generated by Quiq's AI or part of the response. So you can still gate whether or not that response gets sent out to your customers by creating an internal comment that your agents review. Okay, so let's move to the second use case. So in the second use case, we're actually going to look at Quiq email AI flagging an email as sensitive. So let's go back to my email inbox. Okay, and here I've got an email from a customer called John. That's basically saying that he wrecked his bike because of a faulty derailleur and he needs compensation, right? So this can be pretty sensitive in nature, and a bad experience would actually be letting AI try to respond to that, right? It might aggravate, the customer by what the AI is saying, or it might not actually be the best way to approach these sensitive matters. So we're going to treat this differently. Okay, so let's go back to the views here. So we're now waiting for that email to come into Zendesk, create the ticket, and then engage with Quiq to then respond back. So if you look under sensitive tickets, we've got a ticket in there. So let's review this ticket from John. Okay, and instead of a public response being sent out, Quiq AI has actually determined that the inquiry was too sensitive. So in this case, it dealt with it differently. It firstly did not solve the ticket. It did not issue out any kind of public response to the customer, and also chose different values in the ticket fields on the left. So you'll notice that there was no chance for the user John to categorize the issue. So this is always going to be blank. But because we've got Quiq AI running in the background, we're able to understand that this is a warranty claim request. So in this case, we've got additional data, which is really good for understanding what type of requests we're receiving via email, for example, or maybe we want to send this and route it to a specific team. Well, we can now. We've also got the AI status that is not showing verified, but instead sensitive, right? So we've actually selected the correct value in that dropdown. And again, workflows or analytics can run off this information. And of course, we did not check AI solve, since the AI automation did not resolve this issue. So we understood the request, we understood that it was sensitive in nature, and we're actually handling it differently than the previous use case. Okay, so lots of other things can actually, other use case can be derived from using Quiq AI. We could analyze these requests as they come in, and provide some more metadata, and we can go into a few more of those use cases in just a sec. Okay, so just to explain again what happened here. Well, we created that ticket from the email. Zendesk then sends the webhook to Quiq. Quiq then processes that information through AI Studio with its automation logic. In this case, it actually determined that it was sensitive. So we're now going to go and update the Zendesk ticket, and that is now marked as sensitive. Not just an internal comment, but also ticket fields that affect the workflow and triaging of the request. Okay, so now we're going to go into our third poll. So the question for this poll is, do you see this as something your business could benefit from? Okay, and there's two answers. Yes, we need sensitive information treated differently by AI, or no, this isn't an area where we are having a lot of email volume in. We'll give you a couple of seconds to respond to the poll, and then we'll review the results. Okay, the results are in. And leading the pack with 90% is, yes, we need to treat sensitive information differently with AI, which makes total sense. Okay, so just to kind of recap what we've seen. So I showed you two use cases, but we're not really limited to just two use cases. In the first one, we saw Quiq's email AI respond back to the customer. So we understood the different questions that were posed by John. It then used all the associated business systems to go and retrieve the information, formulated the response, and then that updated the Zendesk ticket, which then in turn emailed the customer. Okay. We also looked at the triage, right, with the sensitive email ticket. So we understood the nature of the request, even though it was brief. It was deemed sensitive in nature. Somebody asking for compensation. And within the business, we want to handle them using human agents. So in that case, we flagged the ticket as sensitive, and now we've got a human agent picking up that particular ticket. But of course, we're not limited to these two use cases. We can actually do things like content categorization and tagging, or even sentiment analysis. As the email comes in, we could even say, what's the mood of the customer, or we can even translate the information or the email. So if you've got staff that only speak English or can write in English, you can now receive emails in any language, and we've got AI that's going to now translate that and provide an English version to the agent to be able to understand the request. And then when we're sending back the response, we can again translate it into the requester's native language. But we can also do things like spam, phishing detection, etc. So we're really curious. Right? If you have any particular use cases that we haven't cited today, feel free to engage with us, and we can help talk you through how we could handle that with Quiq's email AI. Okay, over to you, Thomas.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen again. Awesome. Greg, that was amazing, and I'm looking forward to the discussion at the end for us to see what people have to say. So we've come to the end of our session today, folks. As mentioned at the start, Email AI joins the rest of our AI assistants to help you deliver CX outcomes across all of your communication channels now, whether that's voice, email, and digital, as well as messaging. So, as Greg maybe have started to allude to, we believe that AI assistants, as much as we've talked about them, won't be the sole representative of your organization. It's also your agent, right? And so AI has a huge role to play in terms of assisting your agents to deliver these awesome customer experiences. And one of the things we haven't talked about is actually the second part of our solution at Quiq, which if you'd like to learn more, you can reach out to us. We have an AI-powered contact center built for digital channels, where we natively help agents across their workflow, serve your customers. And our complete solution across AI assistants and the contact center keeps your customer at the center and helps you build these seamless journeys across channels, as well as AI and humans using this incredibly capable technology. So I'll wrap by saying, there's so much talk about AI and all these different solutions, but here at Quiq, we like to really stay focused on driving outcomes for your businesses, whether that's for your customers with faster response times, personalization at scale, better CX, or your agents with trying to improve efficiency, retention, and finally for your business, which is improving the bottom line. So it's easy to lose sight and focus on all of these capabilities and not stay focused on the outcomes, which is what all of this is for. So thank you very much for your time and investing your morning with us. A little bit of a call to action. If you're one of those folks that just wants to try this out yourself, our platform that we use to build these AI assistants called AI Studio is open for access, and you can jump into our tool and start experimenting if you like. So you can navigate to quiq.com/AI-studio for access. So feel free to ask us there. But if you'd like to talk to our team and learn a little bit more about maybe the Quiq platform overall, you can reach out to us at sales@quiq.com. And our emails are up there on the screen. I'm Thomas Curavilla at quiq.com, and Greg is Greg Dreyfus at quiq.com. And we have a little prompt there where at the end of our section, so we can go into some Q&A and take some questions. We'd like to ask you, like, given what you've seen, what are the problems that you want to solve? What do you wish Email AI could do for you? So with that, we'll open up Q&A, and I'll stop sharing my screen, and we'll get some questions, and we'll be staying here for a few minutes to tackle those questions.
Okay, so from my side, I do see a couple of questions in. I have provided some responses to a few individuals, but one of the questions I've seen here is, can you elaborate on how email AI integrates with existing CRM systems? So really, the way that we're integrating here is through the use of APIs, right, or webhooks that are issuing out these APIs. So when we looked at the flow diagram, we're actually pushing the information from Zendesk to Quiq using an API call through a webhook. And again, we're making an API call from Quiq's AI Studio into Zendesk. So we're using HTTPS secure connections for these API requests, and they typically go over a TLS 1.3 or 1.2 as a backup for encryption. So that's typically how these systems communicate. But if you do have any restrictions or particular use case situations that you would like to discuss further, feel free to reach out to us on that.
Greg, another question we had here was you showed us triage where you have separate categorizations by the agents as well as the AI. Talk to us a little bit about that, and maybe through early implementation, why would people want to do that?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's it's not uncommon for customers to sometimes be wrong about the issue that they're actually reporting, right? So it could actually, let's say it was an order issue, that's fairly obvious, but things around like warranty and all that might not be as obvious for them. They might be just, hey, this is about an order. So the selection that the user makes through a drop down sometimes will instruct the workflow, and that request will go through with the business, right? So if I select orders, it should go to the order team, and then they'll realize that this is not an order, and then they'll change it, and then suddenly that ticket gets bounced around. With AI detecting and categorizing itself the issue, there are a couple of benefits from that. One is there's no bias or it's going to correctly identify the issue, but it will also categorize multiple issues. We actually saw that it picked up on order status and tracking, right? So not just order. So there's a lot more information that it can pick up, and we can also understand are we offering the right options in the drop down. Moving forward, we could understand, hey, a lot of these requests are about warranties or returns, and we should be adding those options into the drop down so that when they select the user does select it, the correct workflow and triage process can happen. So there's outside of the routing and workflow, the other advantages would be within reporting and analytics, especially when you don't have the drop down. So email, doesn't really offer you as a user submitting an email, doesn't really offer you the chance to select a drop down. You're just putting in the subject line and the body, and you're sending that through. So that creates a request in the email management platform, but you don't have any other context, right, or any other fields that could dictate where should that request go. And a lot of the time, companies use keywords, right? So I picked up on this keyword in the message, and then suddenly the request or the ticket goes to the appropriate team based on that keyword. But keywords can be pretty unreliable. They can miss the context in which you're actually asking that word. So we're actually providing a much better, a much more accurate categorization using email AI, because we've got LLMs and generative AI that really understand the context in which that phrase is being asked and what it's about. And so we can correctly categorize and avoid tickets bouncing around to different departments because they're not following the right workflow based on the keyword.
Yeah. I think what's amazing is that we are obviously working with this technology day in and day out and have built a lot of confidence. But I think for a lot of businesses who are still trying to prove the value of AI for their organization, this gives them a neat way to basically like A/B test against what their humans are doing and figure out whether the AI is actually miscategorizing. And I think what you're saying is like, in fact, we find the opposite, which is we find that AI is so good that we uncover the human faults even though our objective was to figure out whether the AI was underperforming, which is really counterintuitive and interesting. But I think important as you think about proving the value and trying to implement this brand new technology and build confidence with the organization. So thank you. Awesome. Any other questions?
So I'm scanning through, I do see another one.
Okay.
What measures are in place to ensure the security and privacy of customer data when using email AI? So first of all, at Quiq, we take security and privacy of customer data very, very seriously. We apply security measures to really ensure that the privacy of your customer data really is not shared with any third parties, right? So we're really committed to protecting the data and really fully complying with all privacy regulations, and really just ultimately it's about keeping this information secure, right? And we follow responsible AI standards. If you want to know more about that, feel free to reach out and we can send you a white paper on kind of our stance of how we leverage LLMs within the AI Studio platform. But ultimately, our platform is really designed to collect the minimum data needed for the interaction to work, right? So if you want to do via SMS, we need the phone number, right? And we don't necessarily need the name and other details, but we do need the phone number in order to facilitate the communication. So we're all about, what is the minimum amount of data needed to orchestrate this interaction. And then after that, we offer our customers different levels of customization on what additional data they want to collect and in the conversation. So we will work with you absolutely to ensure that the customer feels that their information is being treated securely and fairly, and we can help you design flows and experiences that really help protect all parties involved.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. I think we see a lot of other platforms, especially those that are serving maybe both small and enterprise businesses at scale, starting to ask for permissions from folks to use their data, et cetera. And I think, we are absolutely maniacal about not doing that. We have dedicated tenants, and then of course we can provide more details through our white paper. The other thing I think, like the common question that is in this sort of category is, do we use their data to train any LLMs? And the answer is resoundingly no. Both through the partnerships that we have at the enterprise level with some of the foundation models, but in addition, our platform just doesn't send that data for that use case. And it's much more through prompt engineering and conversation design where your data comes into use, and not to train and change the behavior of these models or their weights or anything like that. So we can provide a lot more details on the security side. Please reach out to us. Awesome.
And I do see one last question in the chat. So how does email AI handle complex or sensitive customer inquiries that may require human intervention? So the way that this is done through the email AI from Quiq is AI Studio. So we've talked about AI Studio. It's an integrated development environment to build AI for CX. And we take a agentic approach, right, to building flows. So what I mean by that is we create these nodes, right? So you can think of them like if there's a flow, there are several steps, nodes in the flow. And the first node that we're really looking at is classify the email. And the node or the agent, its sole task is to classify the received email. So it's given a prompt to basically say, your job is to identify what the topic of conversations are in this content, for example. Okay, or your job is to classify, is this email topics or content sensitive, right? And so the output of that is a yes or a no. And ultimately, these nodes, when they're given very specific tasks, are very good at providing consistent outputs. So that's actually how we handle classifying the email, but that's also how we handle many other experiences, like reducing hallucinations by introducing verifying claims nodes throughout the flow. So it's a proven methodology that we've integrated into AI Studio. And in this use case, we used a classify email node to identify if it's sensitive or not.
Awesome. I think that's it, right, Greg?
No
From a
more
questions
questions.
perspective, anything new?
No, nothing.
Well, thank you everyone again for spending the time. We know that email is where a lot of our customers have challenges, and we're really, really excited about this product and the ability for you to drive impact in your organization and business outcomes. So, looking forward to working with you, and please reach out to us if you'd like to get started. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you soon.